thank you very much for inviting me today. I'm Christina Guindy, and I'm Associate Director for Research Programs and Awards at the Academy. We're passionate about improving the diversity and inclusion in the engineering profession so that it actually reflects the society that it's meant to serve. And I know that this is something that you're all passionate about. I've heard the presentations here today, and it was very interesting. So there is obviously a strong evidence base that a more diverse for the benefits of better diversity and inclusion in businesses in terms of creativity, in terms of innovation, in terms of retention. And the Academy has been very committed to this for several years, and it's one of our core values, and it's one of the reasons why I really enjoy working at the Academy. So today, I know we're a bit strapped for time, so I'm not going to go through as much as I wanted to, but I want to give you a flavor of the kind of interventions that we are making to address these challenges in engineering across education, in the engineering industry, and in partnership with universities. And then I'll focus in on a couple of positive action measures that I've developed in the research programs, for which we have some initial indicators of progress. So in the engineering industry, we have inclusion leadership training for bigger companies, and for smaller ones, we have a Culture Plus, an EDI Culture Plus platform, which is specifically for small and growing companies. This is in partnership with our Enterprise Hub, and that is access to specific focus resources to identify the barriers to inclusion and to track the improvement of the organization's culture. So there is a visual tool that folks can use to really embed their learnings and to see their progress. And it's, of course, very important to start when they're setting up, to have inclusion at the very heart of their company. The second intervention is our JEEP program, which supports UK engineering graduates from diverse backgrounds and underrepresented groups into the engineering employment. And they work with industry partners, they have access to placements, they have mentoring, skills and competency workshops. And this is something that has been going since 2015. And I've just put in bold some of the key sort of milestones. 1,300 students have taken part from 70 universities, 30 to 40% self-identifying as women, and 70 to 80% being from Black, Asian, and minority ethnic groups. And 300 engineering employment opportunities have been accessed by the JEEP students. So it's a really good program that continues to grow. There is then my section on what we're doing at university level. And here is our Amazon Future Engineering Bursary, which breaks down those financial barriers, because it provides £5,000 per year for the entire time they're studying. These women from low income households are studying computer science and engineering courses in UK universities. That means that they don't have that burden of how am I going to pay for this, and so they can really focus on their work. And initial survey from participants has been very positive, with 83% of them likely to recommend the scheme to others. And this is funded by Amazon. Then our D&I team ran a diversity and impact program at universities. More than 2 million has been awarded, 3 cohorts, and 22 projects have been funded. And this is another example of an intervention at an engineering department where we want all the students to succeed from different backgrounds and to really enhance that profession. So an example is from King's College London, the project that has concluded successfully, they address attainment outcomes specifically for Black engineers by providing that tailored support at key moments on their journey, with including mentorship and other benefits to enable them to just go through and succeed. So I talked about some of the interventions we do externally, but internally as well, we want to make sure that we're embedding D&I across our academy programs, so that we're also measuring, monitoring, and evaluating. So there's quite a lot of work we do here in monitoring the threshold of the demographics of our applicant pool. We do a lot of outreach to universities. And we are constantly monitoring to see what is happening in our grants and how we can improve it. We are currently running a one action plan in order to look at the applicant journey through our fellowship programs to see what systemic barriers there may be intentionally or unintentionally through our that is hindering people from going through to apply, or indeed when they get through the application process. So that will probably be something that we will think about, we can share when we get the outcomes. But it's something that we look across, improving across all the different phases of our fellowship, all across the different career stages. And it's interesting that I've seen a problem either with gender diversity and for sure with minority groups at different stages with different careers. So it's not something that we can just put to the back burner. It's something that we're always having to monitor. Okay, so the two specific examples I wanted to talk about today was the research fellowship call, which is where we've put some a positive action. So to introduce it, some of you are already aware of this. It's our annual call for PhD plus up to 4 years of postdoc experience, giving this early career researcher, outstanding folks, up to 5 years of funding to enable them to start and establish themselves as an independent engineer at the end of their 5 years. And it's very competitive. We receive over 100 applications every year. And we make about 16 to 18 awards. So it's a very, a modest success rate of 12 to 14%. We always want to try and increase. We're always trying to get DCIT to give us more, but this is the amount that we're funding now. So for us, we've been thinking about how to make our applicant pool more diverse, because we know when we get a more diverse applicant pool, that would be reflected in the diversity of the awards we make. But we also have to be careful how we're managing demand on this. For example, RS, our sister academy, has a much bigger early career fellowship with scheme with a lot more applications and a lot more interviews taking place. Ours are smaller. So we need to manage that demand. So we do that through application limit. We limit the number of applications that universities can put to us. So what we've done is we've said that you can submit 2, and if you need to submit more than 2, then the additional 2 must come from engineering groups that are evidently underrepresented. So women, disabled, and those of Black or mixed Black ethnic minorities. So that's the 2+2. We've implemented this last year. Prior to this, we had a 3+1, where the +1 was from any underrepresented group. So this is why I call it enhanced positive action, because the +2 is specifically for those that are demonstratively underrepresented in engineering: women, disabled, and those of Black ethnicity. So if I show you this table, and before I sort of talk about it a little bit, just to say that this is really early indicators. The positive action field is evolving, so we need to constantly evolve our approach as well. And just bear in mind, it's only 2 years worth of data. So if you think about all of that, and the fact that sometimes a person who's an underrepresented group can self-identify in 2 groups. So they could be woman and Black, or Black and disabled, for instance. Nevertheless, it's good early indicators, and we're pleased with it. So the eligible, if you look at the eligible applications, in yellow are last 21-22, and the black is 22-23, where we've had the 2+2 positive action. Then you'll see in this last column, from 38%, you see we've gone up to 45% in the total from underrepresented groups. And similarly, we awarded 45% in 21-22, and that's gone up to 50% from underrepresented groups. Now, for women, if you look over the women column, we've traditionally not done too badly on research fellowship, on the early career, but still there is a small improvement. For me, the really great thing is the Black ethnic minority groups. From 2.6%, it's gone up to 9%. And for those who self-identify as disabled, from 3.5% to 6%. So with all the caveats I said, 2 years worth of data, it's nevertheless looking promising, but it's something that we will continue to evolve. And then just to share with you this quite simple table to show that this is 23-24. This is the current round that hasn't finished, so we haven't gotten to award yet. So I don't know what the outcome is, but nevertheless, you can see over the last 3 years, a steady increase in the number of applications from underrepresented groups. Okay, and then I'm conscious of time, but I want to just raise one other positive action measure, and that's access mentoring. So we found that some universities are better than others in supporting applicants to apply to our schemes. And we find the ones who have access to networks and that sort of mentoring probably do better than those who don't. And so this is a very simple approach. It means that if you are a woman, Black ethnicity, or disabled person, you can apply for access mentoring, which gives you the one-to-one mentoring from a fellow or from an alumni from the scheme to strengthen your application so you can get the best possible chance of succeeding in our schemes. And we do this across all our schemes, not just the research fellowship, not just the early career. So far, we've mentored over 100, and we're monitoring to see what the attrition rates are, so what the success is. Numbers are still too small for me to share anything, but I also want to say that obviously we're very keen on them applying to our schemes and being successful, but we're also very interested in other benefits for them, which is they're more confident in applying to other schemes. They just feel more confident, and I think we want that as well. So it's not just that we want them to succeed to our schemes, but obviously that's an aim as well. And survey after survey on this has been very positive too. So it's very much appreciated. So even though it's fairly small, in a sense, it's only 100 so far, we're still looking to see how we can develop it. And we've included scheme alumni because initially it was a demand, a problem with, we didn't have as many fellows who could give the time. So we tried to expand it because we had more of a demand. So that's it for me, I think. I'm very happy to answer questions if there's time. And I'll stop the share, but also very happy to answer questions afterwards if you wanted to drop me an email